Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Digital Making at Home live stream, coming to you from Cambridge in the United Kingdom, but we've got lots of really cool guests on this week, which I'll get to in a sec. So remember everybody that you can write comments, you can ask us questions on the stream as we're going. That's totally cool. Like, just send them in, and when we get to the end of our interview, we'll take your questions and we'll ask them of our interviewees. But until then, just fire away. We'll pick the good ones. And if you have any comments about what's going on, fire them up as well. We'll bring them up on screen and those sorts of things. So last week, we spoke to Rob Z, who was a video game developer who made a game called Barbecue Dad and hosted it all himself, made the whole thing from scratch like an indie game, and put that up on itch.io. And we had a look at how he made that. And he talked about using sprites and things. And so moving on from that, this week it's Go Graphics, and we're looking at making graphics for video games and how you build the sort of artistic elements of a video game to make it look really cool. And one of our video on demands this week was making a platformer with me and Zach where we could change the costumes of the things in our game. So moving on today, we're going to have you make your own costumes in this really cool online program called Piskel, and we'll run you through how all that works. You can get a free account there, but you don't need one. So you can go to rpf.io/Piskel, and that will open the window up for you, and you can just pop that in and we can start working on that in a little bit. But before we do that, we've got a special guest today. His name is Lee Taylor, and he's a senior VFX artist at a studio here in England called Sumo Digital. So he makes artwork for video games. It's some really, really cool stuff. We'll have a chat about that now. We've also got Sophia and Sebastian, who are coming to us from Atlanta in America. So they're up real early. It's their breakfast time right now. So they're like doing us a big favor by coming on here. And remember, guys, put stuff in the comments and we'll get to those when we get a minute. So Lee, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, mate? You good?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. And you're coming to us from Sheffield in the United Kingdom.
Yes, that's right.
And that's Sumo Digital is the company you work for, and they have, I know, 8 studios in the UK and another one in India, I understand.
Yeah, we've got one in India and one in Vancouver as well.
Oh, really cool. Oh, that's wicked. And so you're in the Sheffield office. Is that the HQ, like the main office of the company?
Yeah, that's the original.
That's really cool, man. And so what do you do for Sumo? What does a VFX artist like? What does a person like yourself do on a daily basis as their job?
Well, visual effects is probably one of the broadest genres in game development on the art side. We cover animation, modeling, textures, physics. So we do a lot of things, but basically we do all the explosions and the splats and all the cool stuff, really.
That's really cool. And so, I mean, I imagine that would be a complex thing. Like if someone said, make me an explosion, like I don't know where I would start with making somebody like a graphics version of an explosion. Like that seems to be a really complex thing to me to sort of, to do, right? Like, is there a team of you that would work on a single explosion like that? Or is that a job you give?
No, normally it's an individual artist, but it all depends on what sort of visuals you're going for. I mean, you can have a hand-drawn explosion if you want to, but if you want a super realistic simulation explosion, that takes a lot longer to do and set up. It's very much based on real-world physics, lots of numbers and sliders and very little drawings involved in that sort of thing. But it's more maths and controls, but at the end of the day you still manipulate it in the way you want it to look. So if you want it to look like a slow motion explosion, or you've got choice of colors or things that come out of the explosion, that's completely open, and obviously the more involved it is, the longer it will take.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's really interesting. You say the computer models all those explosions, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, what's the other end of the scale? Something that's way more sort of like artist focused. It's very up to your interpretation to produce an artwork.
So probably something like the Manga Style stuff, which is very hand drawn, 2D looking, sort of very flat, and it's got exact shapes in it. Spiky shapes and curls, and even the motion of them is sort of choreographed very closely to get the absolute style that you're looking for out of it.
That's cool. That's really interesting. And what sort of tools do you use when you're doing like VFX work and those sorts of things? Do you use an array of tools, or do you have an in-house tool that you use specifically?
Use an array, really. It's as basic as Photoshop for doing, or any art package, digital art package. And you can even draw stuff on paper and scan it in and get the original textures. But then we generally use 3D packages or actual game engines such as Unreal Engine, and we can create the effects within those. They have their own editors within them, and we've also used proprietary engines as well. Depends what game we're working on, what platform it's going to be on. But yeah, I mean, anything goes really. If as long as the final thing looks cool, it doesn't matter what tools you use. That's something we're trying to sort of teach the world really. For anyone coming in new to the industry, they seem to be just taught the high-end tools like Houdini, which is like one of the big ones at the moment. They're taught how to use it, but not how to make good effects with it. And it doesn't. You don't need to use Houdini. You could do it in pretty much anything, and get a good effect out. So
that's
yeah.
cool. So how did you get into doing VFX then? Did you go through a very technical route through college and learn the fancy tools and then go through and start doing it, or were you about more of like a freelancer? You got in another way?
Well, I came a very long way around to it. I'm sort of a traditional 3D artist originally, and I was making scenery and costumes and props for theatre, and I wanted to get into TV through doing that. Became a carpenter. Then I was finding it was not arty enough for me, and I found a computer course teaching you 3D software, 3D Max, I think it was. That was just a 6-week course. Did that, worked on show reels, sent them off to various companies, got picked up by one and started off doing comic books, but where you actually model and render them, the graphics on a computer, set them out and they get printed elsewhere into the actual comics and distributed that way. From there, I moved on to another company doing animations for children's TV show. Underground Ernie was the one that we actually got released on BBC, I think it was. And there's a few pilots I've worked on as well, but I was still a generalist. I was still modeling stuff, lighting things, started doing a few effects there as well. And a few game animations followed that. And again, but when I started at Sumo is when I first started doing effects properly. Again, I started as a generalist, and somebody else was starting to do the effects because they all used to be very, very code driven. It was mainly the coders that did it, and we'd just hand them some images to use for the flame or the trail or something like that. And then as the software became more artist friendly, I was picking it up more and more as we went along, and I sort of gradually became more and more specialized until maybe 6 years ago, and I pretty much did nothing but visual effects. So I still did the odd bit of animation and modeling, but that was my path, but it's not a very usual one.
yeah, I can say that's quite a circuitous route, isn't it? I mean, do you still like to make art in your free time? Like when you're not at work doing VFX, do you go away and do the more artistic things for yourself here and there still? Or
I do, but not normally on computers. I've recently got a 3D printer though, so I've started doing a few things on that. I actually printed out. Where is it? I've printed out particle effect.
Printed out a particle effect. This I have to see. Oh wow! Okay.
So this was actually a generated particle system of a rocket taking off.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks just like a rocket taking off.
So I've not made the rocket yet.
Yeah,
but yeah,
cool.
I did that and printed it out and just took a still from the actual simulation and printed it, and it came out fairly good. I was quite impressed with that. So yeah, I do a little bit of things like that. Most of the stuff I do in my spare time is physical object making, like tinkering with things in my garage, and played around with cars and things like that in the past, but they're too expensive. So I'm into skateboards mainly at the moment, coming up with weird contraptions to ride.
That's awesome. What's the weirdest contraption you come up with recently?
I'm into surf skates right now, which are super loose skateboards that emulate surfing.
Cool.
And the one I've done at the moment, it's got no support whatsoever. So as soon as you step off it, it falls over. Incredibly difficult to ride.
Sounds it.
It's probably not going to make it to market.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's it's a thing for you, right? It's a thing you make for you. That's really cool.
Yeah, sure. And I do paint and customize them as well. This is one of my recent
Oh,
ones.
wow.
Just covered it in masking tape, drew it on my biro, and then cut it with a scalpel, and then spray painted it and left the wood on the top half. And this is one of my inventions for the truck at the front.
Crazy. That's awesome. That's wicked. And so, like, I mean, that's so cool that art is like all the way through your life, right? Like, you're an artist who makes video games at the moment to make a crust, and that's really cool. Like, I think that's
definitely.
amazing. Do you love it when you sort of like see one of your games come out and then people are playing it or it's being reviewed and you see snippets of stuff that you've put the work into and said, I did that, I made that. Like, is that a really cool feeling, do you think, when it's such a broad thing as a video game?
Yeah, it's kind of like being famous, you know, especially I've walked past people in game actually playing the demo game on the console that's in there, and just hearing their comments and that. And it's usually really positive, and that's a great feeling, you know. Fame.
Yeah, awesome. yeah, that's cool. That's so cool though, right? Like, and that's obviously it's not the reason you make video games. You make video games because it's a wicked fun thing to do. But it's nice that you can do that as a career and sort of like feel that kudos as well for the thing that you made when other people get to share it and stuff. Like, that's really cool. Like, do you think anyone could become a VFX artist or a computer graphics artist? Like, is it possible for anyone to have a go at?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, you just got to put the work in and trying to do it. I mean, virtually everyone can become an artist, but most people don't because they don't find it easy to start with. I'm myself like that. I went into art probably because that was the thing I found the most easy to do, but I wasn't very good, and I had to put a lot of work in to get to a point when I was good. So yeah, anyone can do it if you put the time and the effort in. And it's good to have an eye, but you just need to know what to study. I think that's all it is. Just if someone can direct you in the first place to say, you know, a lot of effects are number one about timing. So it's the same as animation. You know, you've got to get the timing right, otherwise it looks weird or it's dull. So you've got to have some kind of, you know, interesting timing, impactful. This is what makes the great sort of cartoon animators makes their stuff so interesting to watch. You know, the poses they get out of the character, the exaggeration they put into it, all that. It's learnable. So yeah, it is open to anyone, but it's not an easy thing to do. And visual effects is probably another step harder as well, because you've got to be good at art, but you've also got to be quite good at the technical side. Can be a lot of maths involved. Not always, but you know, some people branch more towards that way, and others like tend to just try and do as much art as they can, and then get help from the other people. So if you're working in a team, it's great because you can get the help of your friends who know the stuff that you don't know, and vice versa. You can advise them on something that they've got the sort of the almost code side behind it working great, but it just doesn't look quite right. And then that's when the artist training comes in, and you can guide them to just improve the look of it.
That's cool. I love that the collaborative effort there. Like that must be nice to have in the workplace, sort of like pulling together.
Yeah, it's great working in teams.
That's cool. Awesome. Speaking of teams, we've got Sophia and Sebastian coming on. I think they might have a question for you about making graphics. So we'll get them in. Sophia and Sebastian, you guys there?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you all cool? Have you got a question for Lee, Sebastian?
Yes.
Fire away, man.
What type of games do you make?
I worked. I originally started with, I think it was Tonka Space Station, which was just a little adventure game as far as I remember. 1999, I think I was working on that one. And I've worked on gambling games, doing the animations for the croupiers, sort of gathering chips off the tables and cards. I have worked on DS console games, all different franchises, different styles. And then I think I'm working mostly on AAAs for the last 7 or 8 years. So yeah, it's all different stuff, ranging from, you know, shoot 'em ups to adventure games to racing games. Worked on quite a lot.
That's amazing. Is that breadth of work common for digital artists in that sense? Like, would you normally do a huge array of things if you work at a game studio?
It totally depends on the studio. If the studios are work for hire, you just do what the publishers bring you. But then you get dedicated studios that only do race games, and they just keep doing the next version of the same type of game. So I prefer the broader kind of stops me getting bored doing the same thing over and over. And yeah, it's just nice to pick up different styles. So yeah.
Amazing. And so, I mean, before we let you go, mate, because I know you're super duper busy this afternoon, like, do you have any sort of advice you'd like to give young people who want to join, or Sophia and Sebastian, anything you'd like to say to them if they want to be digital artists and make video games for a living?
No.
I have nothing to say.
No, you're good. How about you, Lee? Have you got some advice for them?
Just do good stuff. Don't do quantity, do quality. So think up of an interesting piece, try and produce that, and don't copy anything else that you've seen. You can be inspired by something, and if it looks similar, it's worth mentioning them. But yeah, do your own thing and do it well, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, it just has to be a well done thing.
Awesome. Thanks, man. That's really cool. Thanks for coming on again today as well. It's really great to have you. I'm pretty sure it was really informative for young kids. And I know a lot of kids who love making video games, but the graphics part is the part that they sort of stumble at or think they can't do. And I think having you on to say, like, you do all this crazy art stuff in your life and you just have a go, like, that was super beneficial. So thanks very much for coming on, man. It was awesome to have you.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be here. Cheers.
No worries, mate. I'll catch you later. Cool. Hey, Sophia and Sebastian, how you doing?
Good.
You good?
Yes.
It's nice and sunny where you are. Is it warm yet?
Yes, it's warm. Very warm.
Man. See, it's sunny here, but it's still not warm because I live in England. So it's just gone all windy at the moment. It's sort of like getting a bit overcast, but that's all right. At least you guys are just starting your nice sunny day. That's cool.
Yeah, I got a tan going to Orlando.
Oh, nice. What are you up to?
Nothing.
Nothing particular. Sorry, man, what was that?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, what did you? Sorry, I talk really fast. I'm Australian. It happens. Sorry, Sebastian. What did you say before?
Just making this pixel.
Nice. Oh, so you're working on Piskel at the minute?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So then what I'll do is I'll introduce everybody to what we're about to do today. So these guys here have been working on some stuff in Piskel this week. So we're looking at making some sprites for some of our video games in Scratch. And to do that, we're going to be using one of our Scouts resources today. You can go and get the resource yourself. It's at rpf.io/ let me just check where that one's at. I'll pop it up for you. Where is it for this one? Here we go. So the starter project for what we're going to work on today, everybody's here at rpf.io/scouts graphics on. So if that's a Scratch project there, if you guys open that one up, you'll be able to start working on it. And it's basically a different version of Space Invaders. It's like a Scratch version of making the old school game Space Invaders. And we're going to do that today. So people at home, if you head to this URL, you'll be able to get hold of the starter project. And to get the art package that we're using, Piskel, you can just go to rpf.io/Piskel, and that's spelled Piskel, so that you can go there, and that's the software that we're using today. So do you guys want to share your screen with us, and we'll have a look at your Piskel, what you're currently working on?
I'm already sharing my screen. I think you have to click on it.
Awesome. I'll pop it up. Yeah, sweet. Okay, here we go. So there we go. Oh, that's awesome.
And we're working on the second frame.
That's really cool. So what you can see here, guys, are people at home who are viewing in now. So this is Piskel, and you can get there by going to piskelapp.com or rpf.io/Piskel. And what it does is it allows you to paint your own sprite. So you can see here Sebastian is just putting away some lines, making a different bit of his sprite. And you've got 2 frames on the side there. So the reason we're doing these different frames today in our sprites, and we'll get to talking about how we do that in a minute, but what they are, so the sprite that he's working on there, we're making essentially a sprite sheet for the game. And so you'll see here that what I've got is this is the old Sonic sprite sheet. And what that does there is you can see these 12 little people, these 12 little Sonics in the corner. If you rotate those costumes very, very quickly, it's like a cartoon and it looks like Sonic is running across the screen. And that is exactly what we're doing here. So you can see that Sebastian is making a bunch of frames. and it will duck through. But those frames, when we tell it to animate, it can just change those frames on the left one after another and make different costumes for different things. You can make small animations for all of your games in Scratch for free. So you don't need an account to do it. If you just click on Create Sprite, it will take you straight through to what we're looking at here. And we'll get started doing a bit of work. Do you guys want to make a new Piskel for me? Because we're going to make some Space Invaders at the moment. So save that one there, man. On the right, if you click that disk, you can save your work. And we'll just get a new one open. Cool. While those guys are doing that, I'll show you the game. There we go. So that's the Piskel website. We make a new one, fresh new canvas, just like that. And so here's the Scratch game we'll be making today, everybody. It's just kind of like a Space Invaders game. You see, it's very simple, where everything's got a triangle or a square and the little oval-shaped bullets. Okay, so I'll stop the game. You can see down here in my sprite list, I've got a square, a triangle, and an oval, and we're just going to replace those with something that we think is way cooler. So that starter project is all there, and we can have a look at Piskel. So we click Create Sprite, and I'll open a new one as well. So I'll be working along making some Space Invaders with these guys as they lead you through what they're up to. Cool. Okay, so if you guys head back to your new Piskel that we created, we'll make a new one. Awesome. So the first thing we want to make, right, is the Space Invader. So you know those weird little alien-shaped looking things? They're kind of like really simple looking Space Invader type shapes. Do you know something I'm talking about? No? All right, I'll show you. So what I've got is we've got some Space Invaders. I'll just pop up my screen. So this here is a Space Invader.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah, so Space Invaders, yeah. So
Yeah.
these sort of simple alien type shapes, that's all we really want. So this one here, if you have a look at this guy, right? So he's really simple. He's like got a geometric shape. He's got a couple of little legs and a couple of little antennas that stick off the top. Yeah, we'll make something like that. So I want you guys to think about that, Sebastian, when you're making your Piskel now. I mean, you think about what's happening there, how that shape could be made in a certain specific and easy way. Because there's a trick that I've got for you that you may not know yet. Can you see there's on the right, next to your paintbrush, there's one that's got a line in it? Yeah. The one on the right with the line in it. Select the next one across, vertical mirror. Okay. So if you select that, and if you start in the middle of your screen and draw one half of your alien, it will draw both halves of your alien at the same time. Watch. Try it.
Okay, hold on. I have to erase this right here.
Right, so Piskel's got some really cool tools for doing simple stuff, right? Like that vertical pen. Yeah, so if you start in the middle, draw out to the side. Right? All right, both sides at the same time. So once you've got those, like you can erase the bits you don't want to do, all those sorts of things. And if you do that again, but you hold control while you do it, it will draw the top and bottom instead of the two sides. So you can draw the top and get the bottom as well if you like hold control while you use that paintbrush. And if you hold shift, it will do all four. So if you start in the middle and hold shift, it will replace that on all four parts of your picture. It's like a really awesome tool. So for you guys who are playing at home, that's the vertical paintbrush tool, the vertical mirror pen. And you can use it. That's the one. And you can just basically draw all the bits of shape that you want. Right? So that makes it really nice and fast to draw complicated shapes. So you guys, let's make a Space Invader, right? So I'm going to make a Space Invader as well. I'm going to have like a round sort of body on my guy. Cool. And then I'm going to paint inside it. And then...
You can look it up. Okay. I'm going to type this. Never mind. You're supposed to type. Just look on it. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so I'm just going to erase some eyeballs out of my alien. Cool. All right. Let's have a look what those guys are up to. Sweet. Okay, cool.
You did the thing wrong. Stop.
All right. So start with a shape, man. Like, you're just going to draw the antennas in. That's cool.
Okay, I'm attempting to.
Go for it. That's cool. It doesn't have to copy that exactly. You can make whatever you want. That's just like an idea, right? So yours could be totally different to that if you want, but just an idea of how simple the shapes can be. It doesn't need to be the most complicated thing.
That looks hilarious.
Let's see. Just draw the outline first. Then
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll draw a zigzag. And then draw your arms.
Diagonal. Diagonal.
No,
Oh,
down.
this is
Nice.
hard.
Go down. Just down.
It's an exercise in like mirror drawing. I love it. That's really cool. So you can see that the mirror pen, guys, what it's doing is it's drawing both sides symmetrically all the way down, right? So it makes it nice and easy to draw these. You just got to get your head around how the sort of mirroring of that image will work. Remember, you don't have to use the mirror pen all the time. If you guys just want to go back to normal paintbrush, that works too.
Yeah, but that was kind of easier.
Yeah. But like for drawing basic shapes and doing things like that, I reckon the mirror pen's a cool tool. And then I can show you how to paint all sorts of crazy tricks on it. So you can make it look, you can change all of your slides at once with the color that you want it to be. Piskel's actually a pretty cool tool. So hopefully everyone at home is also producing some stuff. You remember you can save your Piskels online and they'll give you a URL. So if you save your Piskel online, you can then send us the URL at rpf.io/home and we can have a look at some of your constructions and some of your artwork that you make this week if everybody wants to send those in. That's awesome, guys. It's getting there. It's looking just like the original.
Mm-hmm.
That's good work. No, it's good work.
Thank you. It's looking very wide, but
That's cool. No, that's awesome. I think that's really cool.
why are you laughing?
Amazing. That's really cool.
Let's see.
Bastion! What are you doing?
Just do Control Z. Just do Control Z and it will undo it. So hold Control, push Z, undo. All right, it's cool.
Erase the whole thing.
No, don't erase it. Just do Control Z and it will undo what you just did recently. So hold down Control and tap Z and then do it again.
Have what?
So Control, you see it says CTRL on your keyboard in the bottom corner. Hold that one down and push Z at the same time. So just tap Z. Oh, yeah, Z. Undo, right? It's the ultimate key combination to remember. Control Z, undo. So if anything goes wrong with your artwork, you just undo it. Perfect. See, that's cool, right? That's really good.
Okay.
Nice one, guys. That's awesome. So what you want to do now is if you go across to your frame and hover over the number 1 frame that's got your alien in it, can you see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little white, looks like 2 bits of paper? Click that, and it will duplicate your frame. So it'll make a new one exactly the same.
Oh my God.
Right? So now instead of painting blank frames every time, you have one that you can just change. So now what you want to do, right, so is take the sprite that you've got in the second frame and like move its legs or like make its antennas go, or you can change its color, right? Whatever you want to do, make it look a little bit different, but not totally different.
Erase the antenna.
Yeah, cool. Whatever you want to do.
Oh, I get what you're doing. Click on the
So, yeah. So we're going to have it change costume in the game. Nice. Yeah, cool. And so you can see on the right-hand side where it's animating your sprite. So in that top right corner, it's like flicking it backwards and forwards between, right? And you can slow that down. So if you make your frames per second, yeah, there we go. Awesome. And it does it in real time, right? So you can see that as you're editing it, then it's basically doing it live while you're editing the picture. It's showing you that it's changing. That's cool. Perfect. That's so cool. I love that. That's a brilliant Space Invader. So Sharon, if you get in touch with Piskel app on their website with their contacts, then they'll get it into your Steam Lab, but it's a totally free program. Anybody can use it. You don't even need an account to make this, right? So you can see that these guys are not signed in. I happen to be signed in, which means that you can save your work to the cloud. So you can save it to the Piskel website and they have a gallery just like Scratch does. You can also download all of your GIFs as you make them and have them on your computer. It's just being able to edit that file later is really handy if you've got a Piskel account. So we'll have a look here. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have a look at my guy, and this is my second frame. So you can see I've duplicated it, and you can duplicate that as many times as you like, or just delete them. And so I am going to erase the legs here with the eraser tool. And then I'm going to add some new legs. All right.
You want to be in the frame now, huh?
Yes.
Is he not allowed to be in the frame?
No, he just doesn't like. He's just very camera shy sometimes.
That's cool. I get that. That's no drama.
Hurt me.
All right, let's slow it down. There we go. So you can see that there. And I'm not a massive fan of the color of mine, so I'm going to take this paint all pixels of the same color one, and I'm going to choose my color down here. I'm going to make my alien sort of like a nasty purple color. Cool. And then so you can see here, it says if I apply to all layers, I just hold Control or Shift to apply to all frames. And when I select purple, it turns all of them purple. Right, so now I've got a purple alien. And you guys, how's yours going? Awesome. Oh, we're making more frames. Nice. Now we're getting into it.
I'm gonna rotate it.
Oh, cool.
Nope, I'm not going to.
Make it extra.
That's cool. You can trash can that one if you don't want it. Yeah. And then dupe that. Sweet. That's it. Oh, nice. Oh, cool idea.
Ah! Nope.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Screen. Stop that. Don't touch it. Don't touch
Yeah,
it.
touch it.
Nice. That's cool. All right. So I would say that's probably
Okay.
for it. I think from what we've got there, that'll make a really cool looking alien. I love the way it like rolls and changes color. That's so cool. Very good work, guys. Really good work. So down on your right, can you see the picture of a floppy disk? Like, I don't even know if you do you even know what a floppy disk is? Or are you too young to know what a floppy disk is?
A what?
Exactly. Okay, cool. So if you go back to Piskel, so for all the people like me who are old, so on the right-hand side, can you see the save button?
Okay.
Third one down.
This?
So that's it. Yeah, the save button. So if you click that, it will give you some options. You can tell it that you want to download it as a GIF. Okay, so you want to. How do we save it? We don't want to save it online. We want to save
It
it.
says
Export it as a file.
save online in browser and save online. So it says.
Okay, so we should be able to export it. Ah, the one underneath that, the one that looks like a mountain. Click on the mountain. Yeah, now download it. Perfect. Right, so that what you've got added now in your downloads folder, that is the new costumes we're going to add. So if you go back to that the sharpshooter game. So
Yeah.
That's cool.
The what game?
So the Shapeshooter game, the Scratch project that we opened. That one at the top. Okay, so what you need to do is go to, that's the one. Awesome. So can you see the costumes tab above that sprite? So you've got the squares selected and they're the aliens. So that's exactly what we want. So in your sprite list there, the square one is the one that's chosen. So go up to the costumes tab on the left.
Okay.
That's it. Sweet. And then you can delete, well, we'll delete those in a minute, actually. Click the little dog face down the bottom and get the upload. So hover over its little face and choose upload. That's it. And then you should see your GIF. Yeah. Open. And it will add all of those as costumes to your sprite. So you can delete the top two ones that are just a square.
Delete.
And now when you play the game, it should be your alien that comes out rather than the ugly square. So if you click the green flag, you should see your aliens come out across the screen. All right, like, whoa, they're tiny. Okay, so what you need to do to them is if you can you see underneath the screen, there's a number that says size, like underneath where the game is playing and above where your sprites are. So if you just click size, the number underneath the game, you can actually change them.
Okay, I made it bigger. I've made it bigger, and now.
Okay, so no. What you want to do is underneath where you're playing the game now. Can you see there's like it says sprites square, and then there's one that says size 10. So up a bit and to your right, above the picture of the oval. That's it in there. Make that like 50. Yeah, now try. And they're still tiny. That's interesting. Let's have a look why. Let's see. Why are they so tiny? Go to the code for the aliens. And let's have a look and see if there's anything in there that sets their size.
This?
Aha. So it says when I start as clone, set size to 10%. Can you see at the top of the code? Yeah, that's it. Scroll up.
I don't know how they do so.
Okay, so on the right-hand side of the little window, there's a little grey bar. Can you see the little grey bar on the? That's it, all the way to the top, and it says set size to 10%.
Okay.
Change that 10% to 100%.
I did it.
Okay, so now green flag.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay, awesome. So what it was doing was it was taking your original sprites and setting them to be really tiny as soon as the code started, and we didn't want that. That's cool. That's awesome, right? That's so cool. So the next thing now, so like, can you see the spaceship? So that triangle thing that's meant to be like a tank or a cannon or a spaceship or whatever you want, right? We're going to have to build a new sprite for that. So what sort of thing do you think it might be that's like shooting these aliens out of the sky?
A jet.
A jet. Nice, man. Yeah, for real. That'd be really cool. What else could it be?
A gigantic gun.
Yeah, massive, gigantic gun. What did you whisper, Sophia? I didn't catch it.
Oh, no, I said that's typical of him. He loves jets and stuff.
Yeah, jets are pretty cool, man. Like, I'm into jets. It's all right. Like, yeah, so it could be a jet. It could be a big gun. It could be anything, right? Like, it could be whatever you want. It could be, you know, a kid throwing his lunch at them, right? It doesn't matter. But what you need to do is we're going to make a new sprite for it now. So we'll go back to Piskel, and you guys can, like, knock up a new sprite. So make a new one. Yeah, create sprite. Perfect. And you can make another one for this gun or this cannon or this jet, this spaceship, whatever it is. What sort of thing you might like to do? So while those guys are working on that, I'll show you a little thing I knocked up earlier, everybody. So this is a little person that I made just messing around the other day because I wanted to see if I could get like a small walking sprite to go for a game that I was playing around with. And so this here, you'll see that I've actually got 15 frames for this picture. And each one of them is just slightly different, right? So you've got these little legs moving. Okay. And as we click through them, you can see that it makes him look like he's walking, right? So the more frames you have, the smoother your animation will be. And that's totally up to you how smooth you want to be. Like we saw that the Sonic sprite had 12 different sprites on its sheet to make it walk. This guy's got 15, only because I don't have the same mathematical prowess that real game designers have in order to make his legs go at the certain amount of frames that I need. But you see that this is at 12 FPS, and Sonic was also had 12 frames for his running cycle. It's not a coincidence. And then you'll see here, guys, if you pop him into a game, all right, which is a silly little thing that we put together, right, you can see just by moving him backwards and forwards, it looks like he's walking around.
Only one square.
Okay.
You know,
so that's pretty basic. Like when you're working with Piskel and doing those sorts of things, from now on, when you make your own projects in Scratch, you'll be able to make really crazy sprites, right? And like we can see these guys here are already on their way to making a jet or a cannon. And you can be doing the same, right? It's a free app. It's really cool. You can just jump on and make anything that you like on the internet. How you going, guys? That's cool.
I make no mistake.
Okay. Nice. That's clever, man. Find some inspiration on the internet to borrow from. That's a really good way to do it. Thanks, Stephen. That's nice of you to say. So how's it coming along, man?
We're getting there.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll share mine with you guys.
Same for the other side. So, yeah. I make no mistake. Yeah. 4. You have to do 4. There you go, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Then I go.
It lines up there.
Checking with those guys. How's it going? Oh, it's looking like a plane now. That's awesome.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to draw a tank. It's sort of going okay.
No, don't do the inside. Just line it up right there. No, erase it.
Oh, yeah, erase that.
Go under. Yes. Yeah. Okay, stop.
I know. That's
Too long.
I know. I was trying to fix it.
You gotta go down one more level.
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll make no mistake.
stop.
Cool. How's the plane coming along, guys? That's looking awesome.
It's 4 squares over.
That's really cool.
Erase that square.
I love how much care you guys are putting into this thing. It's really good. It's nice to see. Man.
Okay, now just go straight over. Yeah. Just a square. Diagonal too.
Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my tank. So I'm going to download that. So export, download as GIF.
man.
There it is. New Piskel.
Make it. Okay.
I'm going to add that to mine.
Okay. And you have that.
Let's paint it gray.
Yeah.
Nice.
Green. There you go. There
Painting.
gray.
Okay. Oh, you want a gun or something on it.
Okay. Stop touching.
Like that. Make it red.
Okay.
That's cool. Are you going to do like a cockpit on it as well?
Yes, we're gonna add a gun. He's working on it.
Nice.
Don't do that. Just
Awesome.
look at it. There you go.
That's
Say
good.
press add first. It's not gonna say.
It's already added.
No, just press that. Trust me. Now press save.
Nice.
Just like go up like 2 and then add like
Let me outline it in black first.
So remember, you can just work a pixel at a time, right? Like,
Stop that.
you guys doing a good job.
No.
Be quiet.
No. Erase that. Erase
Stop.
it. Erase.
Stop. Shh.
You were doing good at first.
Remember, don't forget Control Z, right? Control Z will undo stuff if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really handy trick. Okay.
Up 4.
So you can see here on my one, I've added my tank costume. And so
There.
Okay, now in orange. Just do yellow or red.
Go to
Okay, that download.
awesome. Now we're getting there. That's looking really good.
Okay, stop it.
Cool. Yeah. And so now make sure that you've got the triangle selected in your game before you do it. Otherwise, we'll be importing so
That?
it's underneath the game. Yep. Select the one in the middle. That's it. Down there. That's perfect. And then import your costume. So costumes and upload.
Okay.
That's it. Hover and upload. Fantastic. And then you should be able to open that new GIF. That's the one. Cool.
Okay, make it bigger.
Yeah. So go to the code.
I don't believe that.
So we have it Let's set that. So I think you can just set yours that underneath the game for this one. It doesn't look like it's got any code in it that changes the size. So if you go down to where it says size 10 underneath the game again, yeah, just make it like 20 or 15, or we'll see how big it comes in.
15. 20,
Cool. And then click the green flag. Oh, see, so it's tiny. It's tiny again. Oh, no, there is one. Okay, so go to the code. If you right-click on it, oh, can you see there underneath the green flag? That's it. It says set size 2. If you right-click on the backdrop and then say clean up blocks, you should be able to get to it.
Okay. What'd you tell me to do again?
So in the middle, that's it, on the table away from the blocks in the white part. If you move to your right a little bit onto the workspace where all the code is sitting.
This?
Yeah, in there. So right there, right-click your mouse button, and you'll get a little menu. So choose Clean Up Blocks. Pow. Can you see right there that purple block that's on your screen right now?
That one?
Yeah. Change that to like 20 or 30, depending on how much bigger you want your tank. Yeah, and now when you green flag it, it should come up bigger.
It's still super tiny. Do you want me to build a bigger number?
Yeah. Try a bigger number. Let's see what it does. There we go. A bit bigger now.
Do a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. There we go. Now we're talking. That's cool. So when you move your mouse, yeah, it drives a little spaceship. That's great. And so you can also make one for the bullet, right? Like if you wanted to make the bullet look different, we could do that too. You just make another sprite for the bullet, and then it shoots up as well. Straightforward, really. But yeah. But that was awesome, guys. Like, it was super cool to have you on today and do that. Did you learn a few things about Piskel today?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of things. Are you going to keep going with it? Are you going to make some more pictures for your Scratch projects for Code Club and stuff like that now using this Piskel app thing?
Yes.
It's easy, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And I like, it was super duper fun to work with you guys. You guys are great. I really want to have you back. I love the interplay between the two of you telling each other off all the time. That's hilarious. Who's the boss? Who's the boss, Sophia? Are you the boss or is he the boss?
Yes, I'm the boss.
You're the boss. Okay, cool. I could have guessed. It definitely sounded like you were the boss. But Sebastian, I think, is the workhorse, right? Like, he's the guy that does all the stuff. That's really cool. I like the teamwork you have. But yeah, so it was awesome to have you guys, and we will see you again in the future, I hope. Did you have any questions before we let you get about your day and you can have breakfast and stuff?
No questions.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on today, you guys. Both of you, Sebastian. I know you're a bit camera shy, man, but it was really great to have you on. You did some awesome work. So hopefully we'll see you again soon, guys. Catch you later. Awesome. Hey, Yolanda. Oh, you had Yolanda on. That was cool. She's gone backstage again. So that was really cool this week, everybody. It was really nice to do some work in Piskel. Remember, it's free. You can get to it just by going to rpf.io/Piskel or piskelapp.com, and you can make your own sprites for Scratch. So next time you're working through your Code Club or your Dojo stuff or just making a game on Scratch or any other project, don't think that you're stuck to the limiting library of Scratch sprites. Even though some of them are cool, it's always way cooler to make your own. You've got this tool now, Piskel, that can help you do that. We learned a little bit about working in the visual effects and the graphics industry, and knowing that sort of like anyone can go in as long as you're into art and you love making cool stuff. Just keep making cool stuff, as is our motto here, right? So it all ties in really nicely, and hopefully we'll see you all again next week. Our theme is capturing life. So we're doing stuff where you mix cameras with code, and then you can sort of like produce pictures or small movies, stop motion stuff, all those sorts of really cool things will be coming out next week. So join us again, and we'll see you later. Have a good time. Bye, everybody.